Hi everybody, Jen Quammen here. I just wanted to step back for a minute. It's National Veterinary Technician Appreciation Week, and so I wanted to appreciate our technicians. And one thing that I would like to do is have us actually acknowledge that veterinary technicians are different than veterinary assistants, and they are different than veterinarians, and they're different than veterinary students. We all work in the same field, and I realize for our general public clients, this is maybe not the thing that they are into the nuances of knowing the differences of, but we know better and we can therefore do better. And so I want to really encourage folks who are technicians to take that up as a really strong title for yourself and to own it, and to really say to your veterinarians, here are the things that I'm great at already, and here are the things I want to learn, and so can you help me build up to that so that I can work at the top of my license? If you're in a state that doesn't have a credential for your veterinary technicians yet, and there are 8 of them, I would love for you to find a way to make that happen. Ping me. I'm happy to tell you which states that is and why I think that might still be happening, or how we could maybe solve that problem. And the other thing I want to bring, and this is it's a little bit of a touchy subject. So I sometimes run across veterinarians, or typically I would say they're veterinarians. So these are veterinary school graduates who, for whatever reason, either they are internationally trained and coming into the US through a non-AVMA accredited program, and so they're having to go through some additional hoops to get their licensure here, or perhaps they are students that graduated and either didn't take or didn't pass their national board exam, and so they're not yet able to have a license, and so they still can work, but they're essentially working under someone else's supervision, right? So they're typically working under someone else's license. And that's all well and good, and I think for the average client, they probably don't know the difference. But I do think the place where I struggle with this is I hear practice owners, and I hear, team leads, and I hear district representatives say, I've got these veterinarians who haven't passed their boards, and so do I hire them as vets? Do I hire them as technicians? What do I do with them? And this is where I want to stop back and say, this is Technician Week. A veterinarian graduate is not the same as a veterinary technician. And I realize there's some nuance, and I understand why folks are saying that, right? Like they're saying they want them to do some of the skills that you would have your veterinary technician do. But I also want you to really be thoughtful about that and what that might do to your veterinary technicians in terms of their feelings about that. So I don't know what the right word is here. I mean, the right word is veterinarian, right? They are a veterinarian if they've graduated. They just happen to be non-credentialed. They're not licensed to practice yet. That doesn't make them less of a person. It doesn't make them less smart. It doesn't make them less capable. Yes, there are some legal hoops that we have to kind of manage depending on what jurisdiction you're in terms of how they are able to work, but that doesn't mean they're not able to work. And so there's 2 sides to this. So again, this on Technician Week, I really want to focus on what do our technicians think about that, and how would you feel if you were that technician and you had someone came in that had graduated veterinary school, and your boss, the doctor you've been working for let's say a few years, says, hey, I'd like you to meet Dr. Jen. She's a veterinary graduate. She hasn't taken her national exam yet, and so she's going to be working with us as a technician. What does that do to you if you're the technician? I think it can really devalue you, and it can make you feel a little bit small, and it really takes away some of the effort that you put into getting that degree as a technician. So I want to just have us stop for a minute and think about that. Words matter. And again, these folks are veterinarians. They are not veterinary assistants. They are not veterinary technicians. Those are different sets of skills. There are accrediting bodies. There are programs for each of those things, and there are others in between, including veterinary technologists, veterinary assistants. There are some certificate programs for veterinary assistants as well. I think those are all awesome. And maybe you're doing a stepping stone from one to the other. Whatever that looks like, I think we need to be empowered to say what our skill set is, what our training is, and don't feel bad. If you're the veterinarian who's graduated, who wants to have licensure and hasn't obtained that yet, it's okay. There will be a way for you to get there. It's just going to take some time, and you've got some hoops to jump through. But I do want to just be mindful, again, as I sort of reel this back in and try to get off my soapbox a little bit, which I realize I'm standing on very strongly right now. Veterinary technicians and veterinarians are not the same. And so I think it's really unfortunate and disrespectful, quite honestly, when veterinarians and practice managers and even other technicians might say things like, Dr. Sue has graduated vet school, but is going to be working as a technician. I get what you mean by it, but I also want you to step back and think, why are we using those words? Why don't we think about that a different way? And so we can maybe come up with a solution. I'd love to hear what's on your mind, but this is a sort of soapboxy moment for me, and so I'll be curious to see if any of you resonate with this. With that, I will sign off and say thank you, and let you appreciate this beautiful background. I'm hanging out in the south side of Salt Lake, and it is just absolutely gorgeous here. It's a little overcast today, which is kind of nice. There's not too much sun in my eyes, but it is a beautiful, beautiful day, and I hope you're having an awesome day wherever you are. Thanks so much for listening.